Heyo folks, it's bundle recommendation time again. This time it's the Tabletop RPGs for Trans Rights in Texas bundle. If you haven't heard of the situation in Texas that caused this bundle to be put together in response of, no worries. There is after all a lot going on these days. So to keep it short and painful, there were immensely transphobic statements issued by the state governor of Texas, which endanger the safety of trans children and their loved ones. So all proceeds from this bundle go directly towards two already well-established organizations that try to counteract this negative impact. One is the Transgender Education Network of Texas, short TENT, and one is OLT, short form for something I am not going to attempt to pronounce here, but is currently on screen. Without getting into detail, both organizations try to make life for trans people in Texas a lot better in a variety of ways. I linked both organizations in a description if you want to know more about them. For now, if you just cared for the rough summary though, the bundle's main page, currently on screen, also neatly summarizes their respective areas of work. But now for the bundle itself. Hosted by Ray Ilana Knight on itch.io, as of recording it contains 493 tabletop RPG related products, mainly indie tabletop RPG systems or supplements. It will be available till the start of April 2022, and the minimum price to get the bundle is $5. But, if possible, consider donating more. It is both a good deal and for quite a good cause after all. The content in the bundle would normally cost around $2,823 US, and there are two additional things in there which are not even counted in that price. Namely, the wonderful folks at Hitpoint Press, which you might know from things like The Deck of Many, the Humblewood campaign setting, or Griffon's Saddleback, they give out a game file from their library to anyone who mails them a screen cap of their Tabletop RPGs for Trans Rights in Texas bundle recipe. And the same is a receipt, I was going to say, I'm sorry. And the same is also true for Solarian Games and their top secret tabletop RPG system. Okay. But that's the additional outside of itch.io bonus stuff. What's with the main bulk of the bundle? Where's one to start? A quick disclaimer here. I can't claim to have thoroughly playtested my way through all 493 items due to, me not living outside the confines of our current space-time continuum, really. But I read through all the tiny thumbnail titles and descriptions, looked at all the cover art, and read my way further into a selection of the products that piqued my interest. And out of those, I chosen some to recommend to you fine folks. Hopefully, these can work as motivations for some of you to buy the bundle, or for those of you who have already bought it, as a starting point for delving into its mountain of content. First off, and this will come to no surprise to anyone who knows me, is the wonderfully named Our God is Dead by Jordan Palmer. It is a small, comedy-themed tabletop RPG where you play as priests of a god trying to hide the fact that their deity has just died shortly before a major religious celebration. It sounds amazingly fun, it's quick to pick up, and the artwork is just adorable. I mean, look at it. Next, it's Wonder Home by Dre Dragon and the Possum Creek Games. By the gods, this one is a delight. It is a lovely, sweet tabletop RPG where you play traveling animal folk, venturing through the lands and villages as seasons change around you. And honestly, any system that describes its world as filled with grassy fields, mossy shrines, herds of chubby bumblebees, opossums in sundresses, salamanders with suspenders, starry night skies, and the most beautiful sunsets you can imagine. And it's just a must-have in my book. Also, just look at how beautiful the artwork is. Okay, enough gushing. Let's move on to something completely different. If you thought Wonder Home and Our God is Dead are too happy, too warm, and too colorful altogether, I recommend Demon Crawl Gothic by Alessandro and Duffy. This time, the pitch is: our world is rotting. The countryside is littered with festering corpses and unholy abominations. Our moon glows a crimson red, and our church has all but abandoned us. This tabletop RPG is an attempt to create an action RPG for tabletop, with an emphasis on fast and bloody hack-and-slash combat in a dark world inspired by Diablo, Bloodborne, and Castlevania. And if you like it, they are currently working on creating more of it, so now is like the best time to start playing it, I guess. And to keep the tonal whiplash going strong, my next pick is gonna be Thirsty Sword Lesbians, designed by April Kidd Walsh and published by Evilhead. It is very much what the title says. A tabletop RPG focusing on telling queer stories with a focus on letting emotional conflict and its resolution be just as important as traditional physical fighting. Also, describing itself as being made for those who love angsty disaster lesbians with swords, I can appreciate the honesty and style of this one. Don't be misled, there's a lot packed into this rulebook, with, for example, 3 whole separate settings. But let's move on. Grindabins by Jesse Galena or Rex Conchas is a collection of 120 wacky magic items that serve as a wonderful reminder how creative and downright stupid magic items can and probably should be from time to time. My personal favorite is the Bear Trap, which is a bear trap that summons a bear when it is disarmed, which is just, yes, please. I'm gonna add this one to every D&D campaign I run from here on out. Just you wait. And with that, you have my top 5. There's a lot more worth checking out in this bundle, however, and in the interest of keeping this video somewhat digestible, the rest of my personal recommendations is gonna be a bit shorter, let's say bullet point style, if you will. The first is Princess with a Cursed Sword by Anna Entropy. It is a one-player journaling role-playing game involving a tarot deck, and well, it is about a princess with a cursed sword. It fits in a single page and can be played in half an hour, so give it a try if you already have the tarot deck. Into the Weird and Wild by Feral Indie Studio is a supplemental book for those who seek to incorporate a weird and terrifying wilderness into a role-playing game. Packed full of content. I just love this one. Next, one-page lore fantasy folk, again by Jesse Galena or Rex Conchas, contains well-thought-out lore points for fantasy races, helping GM and player alike with creating better characters and avoiding some of the more problematic tropes. Next, Dragons and Owls and Bears, oh my, by Night Owl Odysseys, is a 5th edition D&D adventure featuring a previously abandoned wizard tower, as well as awesome custom art, maps, creatures, and items. If you like this one, they have a drive-through RPG store with a lot of these. So, hey, maybe a good starting point. For the Dungeon by Jordan Palmer, again, is a comedy role-playing game where you play as evil minions instead of the heroes. It's easy to pick up and has a focus on emphasis and improv and memorable moments over complicated rules. And next, Backwater Southern Gothic Horror Tabletop Roleplaying by Backwater Games is a stylish 220-page tabletop RPG system set in murky swamps after an eldritch apocalypse, where humanity tries to cling onto existence despite everything. And then Loot the Plutes by Penflower Inc. is a tabletop RPG taking place in the wonderfully designed hyper-capitalist city of Gilderberg. Players attempt heists and evade the police force aptly nicknamed Styx. And then we have Deep Dark Wood by Crumbling Keep. This one is a tiny hex scroll composed of 7 locations with a narrative connecting them throughout. Not as flashy as many other things, but it spoke to me. And then Perilous by, again, Jordan Palmer. It's an easy-to-learn dungeon crawling RPG about the search for long-forgotten magic and encounters designed to feel like puzzles instead of slow attrition. And with that, I think we have enough. After all, I want to make the choice of where to start easier, not harder. There's a lot more worthwhile to be found in the bundle, however, so outside of my little list, and so I encourage everyone to skim around. If you find something that you feel like others should try or at least be aware of, let us know in the comments. Links for everything I talked about are in the description. Thanks for watching, and well, till next time, stay safe out there. Bye!